Well, you said really all year that these guys have kept coming back and trying to do the right things at practice. Was it that the case again today?
Yeah. Good room. Respectable practice. We're constantly trying to work tempo and increase tempo. In practice, we need to do that this time of year, and this situation, it gets tougher. So I respect how the guys went about business today, and they were into the game plan and they were working. So good group of guys that way.
When you go back and watch Saturday, put your finger on some of the reasons for the problems now that you come back and watch it on film.
I think tackling's a big problem. I think schematically we had a couple of red zone situations that I didn't like. We had a zone pressure situation that I didn't like. We had a couple tempo situations I didn't think we handled as well. But most of the game we were in position, run fits. We just couldn't tackle the backs. So that's what it is.
How was Jake able to practice today?
He practiced today.
Do you expect him to be the starter on Saturday?
I do.
Josh Holsey, where's he at right now?
Get better. Last couple of weeks I thought he has practiced harder, been more competitive in practice. Thought he made a couple good plays the other night. A couple plays I'd like to see him finish, and another play more physical. But he got a chance. He's got a chance to be a good player in this league, and he's young and he's learning SEC football. I think he's headed in the right direction. He's got some real upside.
Really, both those corners, him and John Jones, even though maybe JJ hasn't had quite the opportunities Holsey had, but
yeah.
How much does this help both of them in their futures?
Well, I think that the season itself, from an experience standpoint, and you mentioned Jonathan hasn't been getting the reps that he got earlier when we started him. He's just not quite ready, but he got exposure. And again, part of being a young player and becoming good is bad experience. And they're going through that process of staying mentally tough and trusting that they have a long way to go. That's part of it also. And both of them seem to be aware of that and working at it. And I like both those young guys, their attitudes, and fit well into our culture, both of them.
What was the reasoning behind late in that game, maybe not getting guys like Chris Frost, some of those other guys, maybe some reps that they haven't had a chance to get?
They're just guys that are not ready to go out and execute at a high level right now. And what was going on in the game, we just felt like we needed to avoid any more disasters that that could occur in the game. Hindsight, looking back, probably should have got those guys a few reps at the end. Sometimes that's not always the right thing to do, but I think that game called for possibly doing that. But Chris is a guy that's learning the game, and again, I appreciate and respect the fact that I don't see him moping around and whining about it. I think he knows where he is. I think he knows there's a lot of work ahead and learning the game of football and learning a system, and he's been good about it, and I see some progress with him.
Brian, you talked about not being built to be big, strong, and explosive Saturday. Mm-hmm. Are there guys here who can get to that point, big enough, strong enough?
I think that's our job. I think that's our job right now, is to look at it and develop players. That's really the fun part of ball. A lot of the coaching is the intellectual part, And it also is you know, sharing the idea that, you know, this is a big man's game, a heavyweight game, and we've got to get bigger and stronger here at Auburn. And it's just, I think it's pretty obvious.
But is that, you're talking about the guys that are here who got to get bigger and
Yeah,
stronger?
I think that's our responsibility
Right.
to develop them physically and mentally. I mean, that's our job. And of course, again, you know, when you build a good football culture, they all are in that. They're all buying into that. They all understand that. And one thing through this year, I think that they've learned is exactly that. You know, we've got into games with teams that you know, we just haven't been able to. You know, we haven't been able to tackle well. And again, a lot of that is from a physicality standpoint and what we bring. It's got to get better.
Is that a defense-wide thing, or is it the specific positions that you specifically see them getting? They need to get bigger.
I think defensively we need to get bigger.
Across the board.
Across the board.
It's 2004, it shows the team who was coordinating here that won all the games, and that defense was smaller than this one physically. Is there something else wrong with the defense?
I don't know. I can't, you know, I can't relate to that. The last time I was here at Georgia, that was such a physical team, and so I can't make that kind of comparison. I'm from the school of big, and I think that I'm right in that. I think if you look in the NFL, there was one defense that was built in the idea of small and fast, and it was a defense that was built with a high scoring offense that was ahead all the time, and it worked up in, I'm speaking of Indianapolis, you know, but it's a heavyweight game. It is a heavyweight game. It's for big people, strong people, and we've just got to improve. Got to improve in that area.
Ryan, you made some comments on Saturday that, just in context, but a little bit difficult to understand, just for clarification purposes, some of the last remarks you made Saturday, when you were speaking about the future of moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Given that Gene has had to answer about his job and how he feels about next year and approach those questions, are you confident you'll be back to see a lot of this through next season?
Well, I don't know that I can say that I'm confident. I can honestly tell you that it's not something that's you know, overly burdensome to me. I realized in the spring, you know, when I walked out in spring ball, that we had a lot of work to do. This is a great place. Auburn's a great place, and it's hard for all the Auburn people, I'm sure. Again, I relate back to when I left the SEC and where Auburn was in football, and the last team I saw here, and you know, it's it's a long ways from that right now. And I know it's hard for all the people, you know, but for me, especially being away from it and coming back, my responsibility is to these kids. And I know they've learned a lot of football. I know that we've shown up as coaches, giving them the best every single day, and that's our job. And we're not going to cheat them. We're going to keep working. We're going to choose to use this as a opportunity to learn and hopefully get better. But again, that's not something that's burdensome on my mind at this time at all. My focus is on helping these guys play better ball and get better in the game of football.
Talked a lot about next year, what the defense could look like, developing for the future, those sort of things. How much do you want to be back next year to help with that process?
No, I love Auburn. You know, I'd love to build it and regain the tradition and the toughness of this program. And it's just such a great place, and the people here are great. Great town. It's an Auburn. Auburn is a football. It's a special football place, and it's a place where a kid can come in here and really focus on developing, becoming a good football player. You know, it's a special place. But You know, again, I'd love to turn it around. I'm very confident that we can. But that's really all I want to say about it. I mean, I don't think it's again, it's things for you guys to talk about. You know, you guys can talk about that, and you know, the people can talk about it. We have a job to do, and if we in any way compromise our responsibility to these kids, then we're bad coaches. You know, we're bad coaches. At the end of the day, you look in the mirror and you say, did you do the best you could for these guys? You've got to answer that question and gain a peace through it, or have unrest. And I feel great about these guys in respects to showing up every single day, teaching them the game of football. They still have a long way to go. A lot of physical and mental development still to take place here. I think we've improved the culture. It's got a long way to go. It's got a long way to go. And but Auburn deserves a great football program here.
You have incredibly close contact with Gene Chizik, obviously. You have incredibly close contact with Gene Chizik, obviously. You work with him every day. How much through your eyes have you seen this 2-8 record, the start that
the what record?
The 2-8 record, the start that nobody saw coming, kind of weigh on him with frustrating and all that?
How have I seen it weigh on him?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's been consistent. He's been solid. You know, through it all, he's a solid man. He's a solid man. He hasn't wavered a bit. So.
How have you, in the past as well as this year, dealt with outside criticism, as you mentioned, something that people from the outside?
Well, I deal a lot better with it now because I really don't even know what's being said. I have absolutely no idea I have no interest in it. I realize that I know a lot more about football than you guys. I promise you. If I put you on a grease board, and so you know, I can't get into things that I don't feel are just or responsible necessarily. But I get it. Don't get me wrong. And again, I'm on the side of the Auburn people. This is a great football place, and the expectations should be to win. And I feel awful about it for them. I feel awful for them.
Brian, you were asked a question there late after the game last week, and I just couldn't hear the question very well. I think it was about if you could play championship defense, and your answer was if you're into football and you know football, you can look at it and you can pretty much know the route it has to go. If you're intellectually into the game, it's fairly obvious. What were you discussing?
Well, I think, again, you know, I don't think that's what I mean by that is I think that the people in football have a lot better opportunity to look at where Auburn football is right now and have respectable conclusions where I don't think from the outside, including you guys, can really know. I mean, and again, I'm not going to compromise anybody, and especially our kids at this point in time, to comment any further. But I know what's going on. I certainly know what it takes. I know where we are, and it's real. It's real. It's not, and again, I don't expect you guys or Auburn fans to know. Your expectations are Auburn wins. It's the bottom line. You don't quite maybe know why.
Why you guys are getting hit or whatever? Is that what you're talking about?
You may not know all the reasons why we're not winning games. Where again, what I'm saying is that people in the business can look at it and
know exactly why.
It makes more sense.
And you just don't want to say.
I don't think again that in fairness to anybody, it's worth stating. It's not my responsibility or does it have any kind of class to it to comment any further. Again, our job is to show up here every single day and give these kids our best and give them an opportunity to become better football players. And I don't have any doubt in my mind that what we bring to our players on defense is invaluable to them if they really want to become the best football players they can become. I'm totally confident in that.
Time for one more? All right.
Appreciate it. All right.